Summary of Philoctetes by Sophocles. Neoptolemus, the son of the late great Achilles, meets Odysseus on the island of Lemnos. No one lives on the island, and there are no ships or houses to be found. 9 years ago, when they were on their way to Troy to fight the Trojan War, Odysseus and a fleet of Greek sailors left Philoctetes on this island. Philoctetes was a great Greek archer and the son of Poeas. The cut on Philoctetes was oozing with pus, Odysseus says. His cries of pain stopped the crew from praying and making sacrifices to the gods, so they left him on the island. But Odysseus tells Neoptolemus, "There is no time for long stories right now, and I need your help." Neoptolemus needs to prove his worth and help the Greeks by pulling a fast one on Philoctetes. Odysseus tells Neoptolemus to find Philoctetes and tell him that the Greeks got him to agree to fight at Troy, but he left angry when Atreus' sons gave Odysseus Achilles' arms. Odysseus tells Neoptolemus that he needs to show Philoctetes that he is saying the truth, or else Greece will be in trouble. He was given Philoctetes' bow and arrows by the god Heracles. Neoptolemus will not be able to take over Troy without them. Odysseus says that Neoptolemus is the only one who can win Philoctetes' trust because he was not on the first trip to Troy that left Philoctetes on the island. In order to get Philoctetes to come to Troy, Odysseus tells Neoptolemus that he needs to steal his bow and arrows. However, Neoptolemus's strong sense of right and wrong won't let him act dishonestly. He would rather use force to get Philoctetes' bow, but Odysseus tells him that can't happen. Philoctetes' darts always hit their targets, and he will kill Neoptolemus right away. Odysseus tells Neoptolemus that the only way is to trick Philoctetes into coming to Troy. He also tells Neoptolemus that if he succeeds, everyone in Greece will think of him as a clever hero. Although Neoptolemus doesn't want to, he accepts. Odysseus tells him that he will soon send a sailor dressed as a merchant to help their plan, but other than that, Neoptolemus is on his own. The chorus, which is made up of Greek sailors, asks Neoptolemus what they can do to help and laments the terrible pain Philoctetes has to live in. Odysseus goes back to the ship to stay hidden from Philoctetes. Neoptolemus says that Philoctetes' pain was ordered by the gods. It made the goddess Chryse angry when Philoctetes broke into her shrine, so he won't agree to take his bow and arrows to Troy until the gods say it's time. The guys can hear crying, and Philoctetes walks up to them. The man asks them who they are and why they are on Lemnos. Philoctetes says that no one comes to the island unless they have to. He begs the men not to be scared of his wild appearance, because he is just a miserable wretch who has no one to care for him. Neoptolemus tells Philoctetes the story that Odysseus told him to tell. Philoctetes then tells Neoptolemus that he was stuck on Lemnos by Odysseus and his men after getting bitten by a snake on the island of Chryse. To keep him living, they didn't give him much, says Philoctetes. He is sure that he can trust Neoptolemus because they both hate Odysseus. Just as Philoctetes begs Neoptolemus not to leave him alone on the island, the sailor dressed as the traitor comes up behind him. And he says he is a wine merchant on his way back from Troy. He has heard about Neoptolemus. Helenus, the prophet, said that the war could not be won without Neoptolemus, so Odysseus sent a ship to get him and bring him back to Troy. Helenus said that the war couldn't be won without Philoctetes either, so Odysseus and Diomedes got on another ship and set sail for Lemnos. Philoctetes doesn't want to go to Troy with Odysseus, so he talks Neoptolemus into taking Odysseus back to Greece instead. Philoctetes is grateful and tells Neoptolemus he is now a friend. He then asks Neoptolemus to come into his cave. He wants Neoptolemus to stay close because his wound hurts. Philoctetes trips and falls inside the cave. He can't hide how much his wound hurts any longer, so he begs Neoptolemus to use his sword to cut off his foot. Neoptolemus says no, but he does ask Philoctetes what he can do to help him. Neoptolemus is asked to stay with Philoctetes until his pain goes away. Nicaea agrees, so Philoctetes gives him the bow and arrows. He asks Neoptolemus to keep the bow and arrows safe until his severe pain goes away. However, Neoptolemus must promise not to give them to Odysseus if he comes along while Philoctetes is out of his mind with pain. Neoptolemus takes the bow and arrows and says he will not let anyone else touch them. Philoctetes lies down, and a river of murky blood runs from the wound on his foot. After a while, Philoctetes is shocked to find that Neoptolemus has stayed with him. Neoptolemus starts to cry as he thanks him very much. He has gone against his true nature, Neoptolemus tells him. This makes Philoctetes worry that he might not really be going on Neoptolemus's ship. Neoptolemus tells him that Philoctetes can come on board, but Philoctetes won't like where they're going. All of a sudden, Odysseus shows up and tells Philoctetes that he has to go to Troy, whether he wants to or not. Neoptolemus tells the chorus to stay with Philoctetes while he walks back to the ship with Odysseus while carrying Philoctetes' bow and arrows. Odysseus is told by Neoptolemus that he needs to undo the wrongs he did by listening to him and the Greek army. Neoptolemus also tells Odysseus that he needs to return the bow and arrows to Philoctetes. Odysseus tells Neoptolemus that he is crazy and warns him that if he betrays them, the whole Greek army will come after him. But Neoptolemus won't move, so Odysseus puts his hand on his sword. Neoptolemus pulls out his own sword, but Odysseus doesn't fight him. Instead, he goes back to the army to tell them about Neoptolemus's betrayal. Neoptolemus tells Philoctetes to leave his cave by calling him. After giving him back his bow and arrows, Odysseus shows up again and tells Philoctetes that he is going to Troy. Neoptolemus begs Philoctetes not to shoot as he pulls back the bow. Philoctetes tells Neoptolemus that Odysseus is a good person after he runs away again. Neoptolemus tries to get Philoctetes to move on and tells him that his wound will heal in Troy, but Philoctetes declines. Neoptolemus also said he would take him home, so he asks Neoptolemus again to keep his word. When Neoptolemus says that the Greeks will kill him if he does, Philoctetes offers to keep him safe with his trusty bow and arrows. Neoptolemus then agrees to take Philoctetes back to Greece on a boat. Heracles suddenly appears from the sky with a message from Zeus. Neoptolemus can't send Philoctetes back to Greece because they both need to stay in Troy to help win the war. When Philoctetes gets to Troy, his painful wound will heal, and he will use his bow and arrows to kill Paris, ending the Trojan War. Neoptolemus and Philoctetes both agree to go to Troy, and Heracles ends the story. The chorus prays for their safe journey to Troy as Philoctetes says goodbye to Lemnos.
About the author. Sophocles was born in Colonus, a town outside of Athens, Greece, in 496 BCE. Sophocles' father, Sophocles, was a rich armor and weapon maker, and Sophocles had a pretty good childhood. He received the best Greek education and was noted for his athletics and beauty as a young man. Sophocles was an actor in the theater when he was young. When he was 16, he led the paean, or choral chant, to celebrate Greece's win over the Persian Empire at the Battle of Salamis. Sophocles quit playing because he had a weak voice and put all of his energy into writing tragic plays and poems. The Dionysia, a big event honoring Dionysius, the Greek god of theater, was the center of Athens' life during Sophocles' time. Sophocles wrote a lot of plays, but only 7 have been preserved from ancient times. These include Antigone, Oedipus Rex, and Electra. Philoctetes is one of the few Greek tragedies that can be clearly dated. When Sophocles wrote and performed Philoctetes in 409, he was almost 90 years old and won the city Dionysia. Sophocles was very popular because he did well at the festivals. During his lifetime, he was elected to many public positions, including treasurer of Athens in 442 BCE and strategoi, a type of high-level military leader, in 440. After the year 440, Sophocles may have been chosen twice more as strategoi. Sophocles was also a priest in Helon's hero cult and a very well-liked and respected person in Athens. He was 92 years old when he died in Athens around 406 BCE.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.